Hey traders, Shane from GMT Futures and FX. Welcome back. I'm going to take you through our shave bar strategy, and the actual chart we're going to look at here at the moment is a crude 5-minute chart on the NYMEX, and we're looking at our short entry. So we're actually going to start going through the setup for the short entry on a shave bar strategy, and I've got the key things that I have as part of my strategy are that I've got our 20 period moving average, exponential moving average. I have a 50 and a 200, and the other things that we're looking for here are, I mean, obviously the shave bar strategy is a price action strategy. So, but we're using a couple of indicators and a couple of tools on the chart just to help us with volatility and help us get a feel for support resistance. So the other thing we have loaded up on the chart here is our weekly pivots. So you'll see those to the right of the screen here. They're numbered, and they're important in the fact that you're able to with the shave bar strategy use those as an input component to the strategy, so we can use those as a filter. Now let's have a look at our setup. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this parabolic SAR, and that will ensure that we're cleaning up the chart a little bit, so we'll turn that off. Now I'm going to leave the moving averages on there. So ideally what we want to see with our shave bar strategies, we want to see price moving below our 20 period moving average for a short. So the shave bar is, the definition for a shave bar is that we want to see the distance between the close and the low. So the close and the low, if we put our close, which is 46.47, and our low, which is 46.47, that distance has to be less than 5% of the total bar range. So it's actually on the low, the close is on the low, so we meet that criteria. So it's got to be less, the shave bar has to be less than 5. So you're going to see a lot of these shave bar strategies, or a lot of these shaved bars set up, and they're going to look very similar to what we have here on this chart, where price is closing at or very near the low. We'll get some that aren't quite like that. They're usually a bigger bar, but you'll often find that your criteria is 5% of the overall bar range. So you really need price to either close at the top. You really need price to close at the very bottom to almost achieve that. So you can see we've got our shave bar there. The other thing we need to see is that the actual bearish bar needs to close below the 20 period moving average, which we have as well. Now that's really our criteria. Once we've got that, our entry is either 2 or 3 ticks below that level. It's up to the trader to decide how many points or ticks they're going to use to get into the trade, but basically that's it. That's the setup in a nutshell, and it's very, very simple. Now once we're into the trade, we've got an initial stop that we have, and we can either use an initial stop, which you can specify what your stop would be, and there are a couple of different stop options for this particular setup. You have the high of the setup bar +1, so that'd be the high of the setup bar here +1 point. That would be one of our stops, and that's one of the basic stops. And the other is the initial stop. So our standard initial stop is that we always want to have a predefined level of risk in the market. We don't want to have that not defined before we start our trade. So there's always going to be an initial level of risk based on what your risk profile is. So for example, if we're getting in here at say for example 46.43, our stop might be sitting up here, say at let's put our stop just above there. We might decide that we're going to have a 20-point stop, and that's our risk. So we're risking 20 points or $200. So that might be a predetermined risk that we have every time we take the trade. So you've got the option to have an initial stop on this trade, and the other one is using the ATR as our stop. So potentially using the ATR, and it might be say 2 times the value of the ATR. So if we have a look at our ATR at the moment, if we scroll down here, you'll see that our ATR is 11 86. So 2 times that would be 22. So there's a couple of ways we can enter this, and obviously a couple of ways we can trail this trade down. So once we get into a trade setup, as we do with our Renko hybrid and a lot of our other strategies, our minimum would be 2 to 1. Ideally, we're looking for a 3 to 1 target. Now, this trade here, if we use a very basic trailing stop of a close above the 20 period moving average, that nets us around about 48 points. So this is obviously one of the better trade setups, and they're not always going to work out like this, but it's just good to show you what happens when you get a bit of a runner and you can trail. Now, you've got the option of using a number of trailing stop options, and I'll be going through those trailing stop options in other videos. But if you've been with us for a while, you will have understood what the trailing stop options are. There's the pivot support resistance. You've got the swing high, swing low trailing stop. We've got dynamic support resistance. We have the TP trailing stop. So there's a lot of different trailing stops we can use to trail price down, and we're just adding in the moving averages as well. So we have a 20, a 50 and a 200 moving average. So depending on what your risk profile is and where you want to kind of lock in profit, you can decide whether you're going to take profit more aggressively or let these trades run a little bit more. As you can see there, the wider that stop, the more of a run you get on your trade, but that can also work against you as well. So it's just a matter of just doing your testing and making sure that you test according to what your goals and objectives are. So that's a quick look at the short entry. It's very, very simple. It's a shave bar strategy, as I said before. It's a nice, easy system, and it works really well. And I'll be going through in later videos the input settings for the shave bar, but that's about it at the moment. So thank you for your time, and hope you enjoy the video. Cheers.